Thank you. So I am an expert at starting over. I had the most difficult, abusive, so many different things happened as a child that I can't really count them. And some of them I thought I would never survive, but I did. And as I went through all of these things, I learned how to start over. And I am here, and I have had a wonderful life, and I just want to share with you some of my story, if that's okay. So I'm going to take you back to the 1970s. I was living on a 57-foot sailboat, a beautiful catamaran. Actually, it was a little crazy. Some people thought it was a hippie boat, but it was this really major machine. I mean, it was a catamaran that in good wind and everything, we could go 20 knots, and it was powerful. And the whole living on the ocean, even though you're a little teeny speck, you get so in touch with humility in the middle of the ocean. And yet you're sharing it with the dolphins who come breathing alongside. You're sharing it with the stars. Totally awesome and beautiful. And I actually logged 44,000 sea miles, went through all these different countries and islands, and it was amazing. But so the ocean is also so super powerful. And at any minute, it can go from calm to raging. And there were times where I was literally watching waves taller than our masts. And this was, like I said, 57 foot. It was not a small boat. And the masts were very high. And it was just incredible how you had to just master steering the boat, keeping it, to not get tipped over by the waves, on course. And it was also that working so hard to keep this boat afloat during the storm that you really had to set all your feelings aside, because I'm just going to tell you that it was scarier than shit. And, but my job, because I was the navigator, I was a key part of this whole crew. My job was to be there for the crew when it was my turn to, do my job and steer the boat. So I had to go to sleep. You got 35, 50-foot waves, and they're crashing, and the boat is heaving and rolling, and you're having to trust, who's ever steering, and you know that you're the best steerer. So you're, going to sleep is just not, just really. But anyway, controlling the feelings, setting them aside, I did what needed to be done. And that is a core part of my life and how I've always been able to start over. So, long story short, we're in Tahiti, beautiful place. And the best thing about being on this boat is you're traveling around with your home. So you're actually having, local people coming on board, and we're sharing our food, you're sharing your food. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And you got to sleep in your own bed every night. And it was my home. It was such a precious life. But I got to a point where I was feeling that it got to be a little bit too much of a party boat. And I got really concerned about safety. And there was a couple times where we'd have too many people on the boat. The wind is racing. This is a powerful boat. And we're like racing, and we're headed straight for the rocks. And people are just lollygagging about because it was like a comfortable boat. And, I'm running and get over there because I got to turn around and this rope's going to just cut you up, And so I just couldn't live that life anymore. And I went back to the United States. I hadn't been back here in over 4 years. And I intended to go back because I was on a resupply mission, but something was just going, don't go back. And I didn't. And a year later, the boat got lost at sea in a really heavy storm. And the whole crew, the boat, everything, gone. And so it was the most grievous time of I just wanted to bury myself. I just wanted to go under the covers, and I did. And I cried and I grieved, and I cried and I grieved. But I already knew that life was still wonderful, that it could be wonderful, and that I had to start over again. And so slowly, little steps, I took the memory of that there's always a new day, there's always a new day. And so, if you have that, if you ever have to start over, which if you're in not such a good situation, I hope you do start over, because there's a lot of times where we really need to make changes to really live the life that we want to live. But on the other hand, I hope you don't have to start over. But I just want to say that you can always start over, and there's always a new day. And there's a really learnable, practical practice that all of us can have, even if it's just a little pivot. That just doing a little bit and knowing what needs to get done right at that moment, even if it's just washing the dishes, because that's what I always remember. I learned to wash my own dishes, and I learned to do what needed to be done. But I always knew that there would be a new day, no matter how bad this day was. So I'm starting over right now, and I love my life, and I can't wait to see what comes in the future. Thank you very much.